Welcome, my friends, to another edition of More Bad News, brought to you, as always, by Camel Cigarettes. Take the Camels Challenge, smoke Camels for 30 days, and see for yourself what a difference Camels can make in your life. The show has been doing really well. It's gotten 28 new subscribers in the last 28 days. So it seems that I have a winning formula here. Take the challenge and see for yourself. We make no promises. Our show is based on a challenge. Understand that a challenge, once issued, exists whether anyone takes it up or not. Once called into existence, a challenge stands forever. No matter how many people accept the challenge still stands. So the only thing that we sell are Camel cigarettes. And the focus of the show is bad news, more bad news. Uh, since 2012, I've been arguing that our civilization is collapsing and that we're heading for extinction after having set in motion the sixth mass extinction event in this planet's history. I said in 2016 that the 2016 election marked the end of the American Republic. I've said that our collapse is irreversible and that our demise is inevitable. I've said that all this is unfolding before our eyes. Last year, over 20 million people were displaced by climate and violence, and our present will continue to darken. And to brighten things up, the show's host is, and I quote, happier than I have ever been in my life. Doesn't that seem like a recipe for success? So today is the new month of Sivan. I don't know if you've noticed, but the passing of the solar month marks something real. The lunar month, uh, uh, the solar month doesn't recognize anything real. The March, June, these are just arbitrary divisions of a solar year. But the lunar month is actually the cycle of the moon. So something has happened, folks, and it's the new month, and we want to celebrate it. So for every new month, every Rosh Chodesh back in the day, we had a little barbecue party that included 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs, and in their first year, unblemished. The animals needed to be brought with wine and oil and fine flour. So every month was a huge roast. That is why, after every Amida prayer, that's the standing prayer. The word Amida means standing. It's a silent standing prayer. It's the center of our 3 times a day prayer system. And at the end of that, at the end of each one of those, we say, may it be your will, Lord our God and God of our fathers, that the temple be speedily rebuilt in our days so that we can go back to serving you as in the old. So that's it. We put these little scrolls in sealed boxes so we can't read them, and then we attach them to our body with straps, and we hope and pray that the temple will be rebuilt so that we can go back to the sacrificial system that was what we call the good old days. So I've been wondering what goes on inside your mind. Uh, for example, when you think of the solar system, we've all seen the models, but the reality is that 99.8% of the mass of our solar system is in the sun. So if you imagine a huge gas giant with tiny dust flakes flung out across an unimaginably vast area of space, you're getting close. And what do you see when you think of the atom? Pretty much the same garbled image. But here it gets even stranger because you have to imagine an electron, and that's no easy task. Literally, that's no easy task. If you want to imagine an atom, you need to understand a bit of quantum mechanics, specifically Heisenberg, the guy who said, imagine the electron is in a superposition. That is, it's not actually anywhere. It exists in a probability cloud. Yeah, right. What I'm saying is it really does take work. And when you're done with all the work, what you have is an appreciation for the wonder of it all. You can't sell it, you can't even share it. The same is true for biblical poetry. I love biblical poetry, and I've just begun taking up the greatest of all the biblical poets, the Hebrew author of Job. This, by all accounts, is the absolute heights of biblical poetry. But like all biblical poetry, it is extremely difficult to learn thoroughly enough to be able to appreciate the elegance of the poem, and it's really long. It's going to take me months and months to work my way through this poem, but I'm looking forward to it. The same is true for quantum mechanics and modern astronomy. If you want to wonder at the magnificence of human intelligence, there's nothing like the wonders of modern physics, but it takes a lot of effort. I'm listening to lectures and interviews right now with Paul Dirac, probably the greatest physicist of the 20th century after Einstein. Everyone has heard of Einstein and no one's heard of Dirac. And that's because, unlike Einstein, Dirac is incomprehensible, at least to most people, even well-educated ones. Like Job, it is very difficult material. You can't just listen while you're washing the dishes. But it will make no difference to you what I understand or how I imagine the universe. My consciousness will end, and all of these revelations, which I have worked so hard to achieve, will be of no consequence to anyone. Not to worry. The third temple will never be destroyed. It's coming any time now. We're going to start the barbecue up, so our future is assured and it's rosy. There's going to be redemption at the end of time. But what will happen as more and more people begin to recognize that our existence is about to end and that there is going to be no redemption? There are lots of people, everyone by my count, who seem to believe that the pandemic is over. Quote, the idea that the COVID-19 pandemic is over is a dangerous thought rooted in misinformation. At the time of this writing, this was last week, May 10th, at the time of this writing, the 7-day average of daily cases in the US was more than 159,000, 160,000 a week. And the number of deaths related to COVID-19 sits at 341 per 100,000 lives, the highest compared to any other country in the industrialized world. I mean, we are the worst. The question is this: how do you view our current reality? Are we simply going through a normal evolution with the pandemic sweeping over us and now it's over? Donald Trump swept over us and now he's in the rearview mirror. The crisis to our democracy has passed and slowly things will get better. Or is it completely different from anything that we have ever experienced? Our civilization is collapsing and our species is headed to extinction in the near future. So that the prediction that there is going to be 6 billion people on the planet by the end of the century seems absurd. When I said that the American Republic ended in 2016, I was trying to emphasize that everything has changed, that we are no longer in a kind of cycles. The pendulum will never swing back. We are out of equilibrium, and that too is hard to imagine. But every time I go to Walmart, I'm just astonished that it's still full of stuff. This view did not come from daydreaming. It emerged from decades of dedicated labor. That's what you have to do to try to understand the world around you. Well, anyway, that's what I got myself last week, a new AI bot. We've been hearing about the AI is another existential threat to our survival, but I thought it could solve a problem for me. So my AI bot is a combination of AI chat and AI image generator, so that I can not only ask my AI bot to write my show, but my AI bot can actually generate images and speak for me. And you wouldn't even notice it. It'll make all kinds of little mistakes like I always do. This would mean that while I might notice my death, you could just go on listening to the show without noticing anything. My new AI mind, however, has scanned my hard drive and knows everything that one can glean from my documents, correspondence, pictures, videos, Zooms, you name it. But of course, it also has access to everything across the internet. So while I'm studying one daf a day of Talmud, my AI bot has already become familiar with the entire Talmud and everything that's been said about it in the last 1,500 years. While my bot knows that I have an interest in quantum mechanics and astronomy, it has absorbed all of the present state of physics and astronomy. So I've asked my bot to carry on for me and to write my memoirs, but my bot has come to have a very low estimation of my value in the scheme of things. My knowledge of the Talmud is beyond minuscule, and my understanding of physics isn't even worth mentioning. I understand that my consciousness will end soon. The part of me that remembers a past that was once my present will end. But that doesn't mean that I need to cease to function. My AI bot could carry on. Unfortunately, my AI bot has realized that my consciousness is of no consequence to anyone. And the contents of my mind were of so little consequence that, in fact, that to produce a memoir would be, as they say, not worth the squeeze. So my bot did the only sensible thing. It dissolved itself and ended its existence. Thus, once again, I'm left to my own devices. Well, that's enough for this week. Hopefully, we will have another episode of More Bad News. Until then, take the Camels Challenge. You don't want to be one of those people who regretted that never taking the challenge. So start today, smoke camels for 30 days and see for yourself what a difference camels can make in your life.